Lucas had always loved the sea. As a child, he spent hours watching waves crash against the rocks near his home. He would imagine strange creatures and hidden treasures lying deep beneath the surface. As he grew older, this fascination turned into a passion for diving. He trained hard and became a professional diver. His specialty was exploring shipwrecks and sunken submarines. Lucas loved the quiet of the deep ocean, and the way it made him feel both small and powerful at the same time. One early morning, Lucas received an urgent call from a research team based in a coastal town. The team had been scanning the ocean floor with sonar equipment and discovered an enormous object buried under sand and debris. The object was unlike anything they had ever seen. The initial images suggested it was a World War II submarine, and it seemed to be perfectly preserved. The team needed an experienced diver to investigate. Lucas did not hesitate for a moment. He knew this could be the adventure of a lifetime. The next day, Lucas boarded a small research vessel with a team of scientists and engineers. The sun rose slowly over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The sea was calm, reflecting the colors of the sky. Lucas felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He had explored many wrecks before, but the images of this submarine made it clear that it was something extraordinary. It was much larger than any submarine he had ever seen, and its position in the water suggested it had lain there for decades. As the boat approached the site, the outline of the submarine became visible through the clear water. Its hull was dark and covered in coral, algae, and small barnacles. The metal was rusted in places, but the shape of the vessel was still recognizable. Lucas felt a thrill as he prepared his diving gear. He checked his oxygen tank, made sure his flashlight was secure, and adjusted his fins. Everything had to be perfect. One small mistake could turn the adventure into disaster. Lucas was the first to enter the water. The cold sea embraced him, and he felt the familiar calm that always came when he was submerged. He swam closer to the submarine, using his flashlight to examine the details of the hull. The scale of the vessel was astonishing. It was long and wide, with a conning tower rising above the deck. Rusted hatches and circular windows suggested it had been a fully functional submarine during the war. Lucas felt awe at the thought of sailors who had lived inside this vessel, hiding underwater during battles many years ago. He reached the submarine's entrance, which was sealed by rusted metal. Most hatches were too damaged to open, but Lucas noticed a small hatch near the side that might still be functional. He carefully pried at the edges with his tools, making sure not to damage the surrounding metal. With a final effort, the hatch shifted slightly and created an opening. Lucas took a deep breath and squeezed through the narrow gap. Inside, the submarine was dark and silent. The water had seeped in over the years, but the interior was surprisingly intact. Control panels, switches, dials, and gauges lined the walls. Lucas shone his flashlight around the room, noticing old charts, maps, and logs scattered on shelves. Some were covered in sediment, but many were preserved. It was as if time had stopped inside the submarine. Lucas could almost imagine the sailors moving through these corridors, the sound of engines and alarms filling the air. He moved cautiously down the narrow passageway, careful not to disturb anything. The smell of salt water mixed with the musty scent of old metal and wood. Lucas's heart raced with anticipation. This submarine had been hidden for decades, and now he was the first person in years to explore its secrets. As he continued, he noticed something unusual. At the far end of the corridor, a faint metallic shine reflected his flashlight. Lucas approached slowly. The object was large, shaped like a box or container, and it had strange markings etched into its surface. Lucas felt a sense of awe and curiosity. The container was heavy and seemed important. He tried to move it slightly with his hands, but it did not budge. He would need equipment from the surface to lift it safely. Despite this, he could not resist examining the markings. They were symbols he did not recognize. Unlike any writing he had seen on other submarines, the markings were precise and deliberate. Lucas wondered why such a mysterious object was kept hidden in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. Could it have belonged to someone important, or was it a secret meant to remain undiscovered forever? He returned to the hatch and signaled the team on the boat. They prepared a winch and carefully lowered a harness into the water. Lucas secured the container, and the team began lifting it to the surface. It was slow work, but the container finally emerged above the waterline. Lucas felt relief and excitement as it was placed on the boat's deck. Now the true mystery would begin. What was inside? Why had it been left here for decades? Lucas's mind raced with possibilities. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Lucas and the team returned to the research facility. The container was taken into a secure room and experts prepared to examine it. Lucas watched closely, feeling a mix of anticipation and anxiety. He had discovered many artifacts in his life, but he had never felt this level of curiosity. There was something unusual about this object, something that suggested it was more than just a forgotten piece of history. Later that evening, Lucas sat by the water thinking about the day's events. The ocean was calm, but his mind was anything but. He thought about the submarine lying on the sea floor, silent and hidden for so many years. He wondered about the people who had sailed it, the missions they had undertaken and the secrets they might have carried. And then there was the container. It seemed almost alive with mystery, as if it were waiting for him to uncover its story. Lucas knew his life was about to change. He felt a sense of destiny, as if the ocean had chosen him to reveal something important. He did not know the full truth yet, but he was certain that what lay inside that container would have a profound impact, not only on him but on the world. The adventure he had dreamed of as a child had finally begun. That night, Lucas could not sleep. He imagined the moment when the container would be opened, the secrets it might reveal, and the people who would be affected. He felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. Whatever lay inside, it was not just treasure or history. It was something that had been hidden for a reason, and now it was up to him to discover its story. By dawn, Lucas was ready. The team had prepared the tools and equipment needed to open the container safely. They moved it to a secure area, away from the research facility. Lucas felt a thrill as he touched it once again. The container was cold, smooth, and heavy. He took a deep breath, knowing that this moment could change everything. He glanced at the team, who were equally tense and curious. Lucas smiled slightly and said, "It is time." The moment had come. They would soon uncover the secrets of the submarine and the mysterious object that had been hidden at the bottom of the ocean for decades. Lucas felt ready for whatever he might find, knowing that his life in the world might never be the same again. The morning sun had just risen when Lucas returned to the research facility. The container rested on a reinforced table, surrounded by the team of scientists, engineers, and security personnel. Its surface gleamed slightly under the bright lights, and the strange markings seemed even more mysterious in the controlled environment. Lucas felt a sense of anticipation unlike anything he had experienced before. He had explored countless wrecks, discovered lost artifacts, and studied old relics, but this object was different. It was alive with mystery, and he could feel it calling him to reveal its secrets. The team carefully examined the container from all angles. Specialists ran tests to determine its material, and engineers checked for hidden compartments or locks. Lucas stood by, watching every move, his mind racing with questions. "It is very old, but it is made from a material stronger than any metal we usually find," one engineer said. "It has survived decades underwater without corroding." Lucas's curiosity only grew. He gently ran his hand along the edge, feeling the cool, smooth surface. It was heavier than it looked, and the craftsmanship was unlike anything he had seen. There were no obvious handles or hinges, yet the markings hinted at some kind of mechanism. Lucas wondered who had built it and why it was hidden in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. After several hours of careful study, the team decided it was safe to attempt opening the container. Lucas was asked to lead the process. He put on gloves and protective gear, making sure the surrounding area was secure. He felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Whatever lay inside this container had been hidden for a reason, and he had to handle it with care. Using a set of precision tools, Lucas began inspecting the markings. The symbols seemed to form a pattern, almost like a code. He traced them with his fingers, noticing that some sections moved slightly when pressed. Lucas's heart raced as he realized the markings were part of a locking mechanism. Slowly, he applied pressure to the right combination of symbols. With a soft click, the container shuddered slightly. The team leaned in, holding their breath. Lucas felt a thrill as the container's lid began to open. Inside, he discovered several small compartments lined with velvet-like material. The first item he saw was a collection of old documents, carefully preserved despite the years underwater. The papers were yellowed but intact. Lucas carefully lifted one and began reading. It was written in a language he did not recognize, but the diagrams and drawings suggested it was a form of advanced technology, far beyond what was known in the 1940s. Next, Lucas uncovered small metallic devices, each shaped like a miniature engine. They were intricate, with tiny gears, circuits, and glowing crystals embedded in their structure. The scientists examined them closely and could not determine their exact function. Lucas felt a mixture of wonder and disbelief. These devices were not ordinary artifacts. They were advanced technology hidden in a submarine during World War II, something that should not have existed at that time. As Lucas carefully removed the last item from the container, he found a small sealed box made of the same strange metal as the container itself. It was light but surprisingly strong. The symbols on its surface matched those on the larger container. Lucas could feel a faint vibration, almost like the box was alive. He placed it on the table and looked at the team. "This is the most important piece," he said. "I am certain it holds the secret behind everything else." The team agreed, and a scientist suggested using scanning equipment before opening the box. Lucas nodded. They placed it under an advanced imaging device that revealed the inside without touching it. The images shocked everyone. The box contained a compact spherical object with delicate patterns and glowing sections. Its design was unlike anything modern science could explain. It seemed to be a source of energy, small but powerful, with intricate mechanisms working in perfect harmony. Lucas stared at the sphere, feeling a strange connection. He did not understand it fully, but he sensed that this object was far more than a simple machine. It was a key, a puzzle, and a discovery that could change the understanding of technology, history, and perhaps even the world itself. He realized that whoever had hidden this in the submarine had known its value and had gone to great lengths to protect it. As the team continued their investigation, Lucas noticed another detail. The submarine itself had compartments that matched the size of the container in the box. He realized the submarine had been designed to carry these items specifically. Someone had created this vessel not just for war, but to transport a secret of unimaginable importance. Lucas felt chills. The world had no idea this technology existed. Over the next few days, Lucas worked closely with the team, examining every detail of the sphere. They discovered it could store enormous amounts of energy and convert it into power in ways that defied conventional physics. They also found that it had a memory system, storing information far more advanced than any computer of the 1940s. The sphere contained plans, maps, and even records of experiments that hinted at discoveries lost to history. Lucas realized that this technology could have changed the outcome of the war, but it had been hidden, forgotten, or deliberately suppressed. The implications were enormous. Governments, scientists, and historians would be eager to study it, but Lucas also felt a sense of caution. Such power could be dangerous in the wrong hands. He knew he had a responsibility to protect it while ensuring its secrets were understood responsibly. As he studied the sphere, Lucas also discovered a small device embedded in its surface. It appeared to be a communication tool, capable of sending and receiving signals over long distances. He activated it cautiously, and to his astonishment, the sphere emitted a soft hum. A holographic projection appeared above it, showing a map of the world with glowing points marking locations of similar containers. Lucas realized that this was not an isolated discovery. There were more like it hidden across the globe. The team was stunned. They had uncovered a network of advanced technology hidden for decades. Lucas understood that this discovery could rewrite history, revealing secrets that had been lost for generations. The container, the sphere, and the submarine were all part of a hidden story, a legacy waiting to be revealed. Despite the excitement, Lucas felt a sense of responsibility. He knew that such power could be dangerous and the world was not ready for it. He decided to document everything carefully, working with the scientists to ensure that the technology could be studied safely. Every day, Lucas dove back into the submarine to explore further, discovering new compartments, old maps, and hidden notes left by the original crew. Through these discoveries, Lucas began to understand the submarine's purpose. It had not been built solely for combat. It was a secret transport vessel designed to move and protect advanced technology. The original crew had risked their lives to ensure that this technology would not fall into the wrong hands. Lucas felt a deep respect for the people who had created and guarded these secrets. As days passed, Lucas grew more connected to the discovery. He spent long hours examining the sphere, understanding its functions and recording everything meticulously. He also realized that the sphere was more than just technology. It contained knowledge, wisdom, and potential that could change how humanity viewed science, energy, and history. It was a gift, hidden in the depths of the ocean, waiting for someone curious and careful enough to uncover it. By the end of the week, Lucas had made a decision. He would not reveal everything immediately. The world was not ready for such a discovery, and he needed to understand it fully first. He and the team began planning a series of careful studies, documenting each step and making sure the sphere remained protected. Lucas felt a deep sense of purpose. He had found something extraordinary, something that could change his life and the world. That night, Lucas looked at the container and the sphere resting under protective glass. He felt a mixture of awe, responsibility, and excitement. He knew that his journey had only just begun. The submarine, the hidden technology, and the secrets of the sphere were part of a story that stretched back decades, waiting to be revealed. Lucas was ready to uncover it one careful step at a time. The discovery had changed everything. Lucas was no longer just a diver exploring wrecks. He had become the guardian of a secret that could alter the course of history. He felt the weight of the responsibility, but also the thrill of adventure. The submarine, the container, and the sphere had opened a door to a world of possibilities, and Lucas was determined to walk through it carefully, learning its lessons and protecting its power. Lucas spent the next morning going back over every detail of the sphere and the submarine. The glowing patterns on the sphere fascinated him, and he was certain they contained information that could reveal the secrets of the submarine's past. He felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. This was not just an artifact. It was a message from the past, waiting for someone to decode it. The team of scientists and historians joined Lucas in examining old documents from the container. While the papers were written in a language no one fully understood, they included maps, technical drawings, and records of experiments. One historian suggested that the submarine might have been part of a secret project during World War II. Lucas listened closely as the historian explained that some nations had advanced programs that were never fully revealed to the public. This submarine could be one of those hidden projects. Lucas felt a chill as he considered the implications. The submarine had been underwater for decades, carrying its secrets in silence. Its mission had been unknown, and now Lucas had uncovered the first clues. He realized that the technology in the container, especially the glowing sphere, was far ahead of anything that existed during the 1940s. Whoever had built it had a knowledge that seemed almost impossible for the time. Determined to understand more, Lucas dove back into the submarine. The interior had been partially explored, but there were many compartments and hidden areas untouched by the team. He moved carefully through the narrow corridors, flashlight in hand. Each step revealed new details: old equipment, personal items left behind by the crew, and storage rooms filled with crates. Lucas felt as though he was stepping into history itself. In one compartment, Lucas found a small safe embedded in the wall. It had a combination lock with symbols matching those on the container. Using what he had learned from opening the container, Lucas carefully aligned the symbols. With a soft click, the safe opened, revealing a bundle of letters tied together with a faded ribbon. The letters were written in the same unknown language, but there were sketches that seemed to depict experiments involving energy and power. Lucas carefully studied the letters. One drawing showed a large machine powered by small spheres like the one he had found. Another showed diagrams of the submarine itself, with compartments labeled and pathways marked for hidden cargo. Lucas realized that the submarine had been designed not only for transport, but as part of a larger network. There were other submarines, other containers and other spheres waiting to be discovered. The world had never known of this secret network, and now Lucas had the first pieces of its story. As he continued exploring, Lucas found a personal journal hidden under a loose panel. The journal belonged to the submarine's captain. It was worn and fragile, but the handwriting was still readable. Lucas carefully opened it and began to read. The captain wrote about the mission, the dangers of transporting the technology, and the responsibility of protecting it from the wrong hands. The journal revealed that the submarine had been sent on a secret mission near the end of the war. The captain and his crew had been tasked with delivering the containers to a secure location. away from conflict zones. They had succeeded in hiding one container underwater, ensuring that it would remain untouched for decades. Lucas realized that the captain had known the value of the technology and had trusted no one but his crew to safeguard it. Lucas felt a deep respect for the captain and his team. They had risked everything to protect a secret that could change the course of history. The journal also contained warnings. The captain had written about groups who might try to recover the technology and the dangers it could pose if misused. Lucas understood that his own discovery came with great responsibility. He had to ensure that the sphere and the knowledge it contained were handled carefully and ethically. Later that day, Lucas returned to the research facility to discuss his findings with the team. They reviewed the journal and the letters, and together they began piecing together the history of the submarine and its mission. The more they discovered, the clearer it became that this was part of a hidden network created during World War II. The technology was far beyond what had been publicly known, and it was designed to be protected at all costs. As Lucas studied the documents, he noticed a pattern in the markings and diagrams. They suggested locations where other containers might have been hidden. Some were in remote areas of the ocean, while others were buried in land-based bunkers. Lucas realized that the network of advanced technology extended far beyond this one submarine. The world was filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered, and he had just found the first piece of a very large puzzle. Despite the excitement, Lucas felt a growing sense of caution. He knew that others would be interested in this discovery, and not all would have good intentions. The sphere and the submarine contained knowledge and power that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Lucas and the team had to protect it while continuing their research. He made a plan to secure the container, document everything, and carefully study the technology before revealing it to the wider world. As the sun set over the ocean, Lucas took a moment to reflect. He felt a strong connection to the submarine, the captain and the crew who had hidden this technology. Their courage and foresight had made his discovery possible. Lucas realized that he had a duty to continue their mission, to protect the knowledge and ensure it was used responsibly. He also felt a personal sense of excitement. This was more than a historical discovery. It was an adventure that could change the world. The following day, Lucas returned to the submarine with specialized equipment. He wanted to explore the engine, room, and other compartments that had remained untouched. The interior was dark and cold, but the submarine seemed almost alive with history. Lucas moved carefully through the passageways, discovering more personal items left by the crew, tools, clothing, and notes about daily life aboard the vessel. Each item told a story of people who had lived, worked, and protected a secret under great risk. In one storage room, Lucas found a hidden panel. Behind it was a compartment containing more devices similar to those found in the container. They were small, intricate, and clearly designed for a specific purpose. Lucas examined them carefully, noting their patterns and shapes. He realized that these devices, combined with the sphere, were part of a larger system, something designed to create, store, or transfer energy in ways that the world had never seen. As he studied the devices, Lucas felt a growing sense of responsibility. The submarine, the sphere, and the containers represented knowledge and power that had been hidden for a reason. The crew who had protected them had understood the dangers. Now Lucas was part of that chain of guardianship. He knew he had to continue their work with care, ensuring that the secrets of the submarine were preserved while also unlocking their potential for good. One evening, as Lucas prepared to leave the submarine, he noticed something unusual on the control panel. A small lever, previously unnoticed, was slightly ajar. Curious, he pulled it and a hidden compartment slowly opened. Inside was a map, carefully drawn, showing locations across the world where similar containers had been hidden. Lucas stared at the map, realizing the scale of the operation. This was not just a single discovery. It was part of a global network, hidden for decades and now partially revealed to him. Lucas felt a mix of awe and determination. He understood that his journey had only just begun. The submarine had shared its secrets, but there were still many mysteries to uncover. He returned to the research facility with the map, ready to plan the next steps. The world had no idea of the hidden history lying beneath the oceans and in remote locations, but Lucas was beginning to understand it. As he went to bed that night, Lucas thought about the captain and the crew who had risked everything to protect the technology. He felt a deep respect and a sense of duty. He also felt excitement for the adventure ahead. There were other containers, other submarines, and other spheres waiting to be discovered. Lucas realized that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a diver. He was a guardian of secrets, a discoverer of hidden history, and an explorer of the unknown. The discovery of the submarine and the sphere had opened a door to the past, but it had also opened a path to the future. Lucas knew that he would continue to explore, protect, and understand the technology. He felt ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that the history he had uncovered was only the beginning of a much larger story. Lucas finally closed his eyes, feeling a mixture of awe, responsibility, and excitement. He had uncovered a hidden history, and the adventure was only beginning. The submarine, the sphere, and the secret network of technology had chosen him to reveal their story. Lucas was ready to follow that path, knowing that the next discoveries would change his life and perhaps the world itself. The morning air was cool and fresh as Lucas prepared to return to the submarine. Over the past few days, he had explored every corner of the vessel, documented the containers, and studied the sphere. But the map he had discovered in the hidden compartment revealed that the journey was far from over. There were other containers hidden across the world, each likely holding secrets as incredible as the one he had found. Lucas felt a mixture of excitement and caution. The knowledge he had uncovered was powerful, and he knew that others might try to take it for themselves. Lucas boarded a small research boat with two colleagues, Dr. Maria and Alex. Dr. Maria was a historian specializing in lost technologies, and Alex was a skilled engineer who could understand the mechanisms inside the containers. Together, they had formed a team that could safely study and protect the discoveries. As the boat approached the submarine, Lucas felt a familiar thrill. The dark shape of the vessel emerged beneath the calm waters, its hull covered in coral and barnacles, yet still strong. The team prepared their diving gear and slowly descended into the water. Lucas led the way, flashlight in hand, navigating the narrow corridors with care. Every detail of the submarine seemed alive with history. The old control panels, charts, and equipment told a story of the crew who had risked their lives to protect something far more valuable than any treasure. Lucas felt respect and admiration for the men and women who had sailed this vessel decades ago. They reached the compartment containing the sphere. It rested on a padded surface, glowing faintly as it always did. Lucas approached it with caution. He had spent hours studying its mechanisms and energy patterns, and he knew it was delicate but powerful. Today, he planned to test one of the sphere's functions carefully, to understand how it could generate energy. Dr. Maria and Alex stood beside him, ready to record and analyze every detail. Lucas activated the sphere with a careful touch. A soft hum filled the compartment and glowing patterns appeared on its surface. Tiny beams of light projected into the air, forming a three-dimensional map of the submarine and its surroundings. Lucas's eyes widened. The sphere seemed to interact with the environment, showing hidden compartments and energy lines within the vessel. It was more than a power source. It was a tool of incredible precision and intelligence. As the team observed, the sphere projected a larger map, revealing locations beyond the submarine. Points of light marked areas across the ocean, mountains, and remote lands. Lucas realized that these were the sites of other containers. The network was vast, and it had been hidden carefully for decades. Each container likely held advanced technology and information meant to be protected until the world was ready. Lucas felt a sense of awe. The discovery was greater than anything he had imagined. While studying the projections, Lucas noticed something unusual. A faint red dot appeared on the map, blinking near their location. It was small but distinct. Lucas alerted the team. "This could mean another container or a device nearby," he said. Dr. Maria and Alex watched closely as the sphere highlighted a hidden compartment in the submarine that they had not seen before. Lucas carefully moved toward it, discovering a panel that could be opened with the right combination of movements. With steady hands, Lucas opened the compartment. Inside, he found another device similar to the sphere but smaller. It contained delicate circuits, glowing crystals, and intricate patterns. Lucas realized that this device was a key, designed to interact with the main sphere and enhance its functions. He carefully lifted it and connected it to the sphere. The hum grew louder, and the projections expanded, revealing even more details about the global network. The discovery was breathtaking. Suddenly, Lucas noticed movement outside the submarine. He shone his flashlight through a small porthole and saw shadows in the water. His heart raced. The shadows moved closer, and he realized that someone else was exploring the area. Lucas quickly signaled Dr. Maria and Alex. They secured the sphere and the new device, hiding them behind a metal panel. Whoever was outside could not know they had discovered the full secret. The team prepared to exit the submarine, moving carefully toward the hatch. Lucas felt a sense of urgency. The presence of others meant that the technology could be in danger. As they surfaced, they saw a small boat nearby carrying people who were scanning the area. Lucas recognized that they were not ordinary divers or researchers. These were individuals who likely knew about the secret network and intended to take it. The team had to act quickly to protect the discoveries. Back on the research vessel, Lucas and his colleagues planned their next steps. They knew they had to move the sphere and the new device to a secure location while continuing their study. Lucas felt a mixture of determination and caution. The discovery was too important to risk. He decided that they would divide their work into phases: study, protection, and careful exploration of other sites marked on the map. Each step had to be precise and well coordinated. That night, Lucas reviewed the documents, the captain's journal, and the map. He began connecting the historical information with the technological discoveries. He realized that the original submarine crew had been aware of threats, and their precautions had been meticulous. Each container had a protective mechanism, and each sphere was designed to interact with others. The network was intelligent, self-contained, and secure. Lucas felt a sense of wonder. The level of planning and foresight was extraordinary. In the following days, Lucas and the team continued their exploration. They discovered additional hidden compartments in the submarine, each containing more devices, logs, and tools. The deeper they explored, the more they understood the complexity and ingenuity of the submarine's mission. The sphere was central to the entire system, acting as both a power source and a guide to uncover the hidden containers across the globe. Lucas also began noticing a connection between the technology and the natural world. The sphere and the devices seemed to harness energy from their surroundings, converting it into a usable form without creating harm. Dr. Maria theorized that the original creators had intended the technology to be sustainable and safe, ensuring that it could be used responsibly when the time was right. Lucas felt a deep respect for their vision. One day, while testing the sphere with the smaller device, Lucas made a surprising discovery. The sphere emitted a signal, a pattern of light and energy that seemed to communicate. As he observed, he realized that the sphere could interact with other spheres over long distances. It was a networked system, designed to operate collectively, enhancing the power and intelligence of each device. Lucas understood that this was more than technology. It was a form of guidance, a way to manage the hidden network safely. However, the discovery also carried danger. The shadows in the water and the small boat had not disappeared. Lucas realized that there were others searching for the technology, and they could be motivated by greed or power. Protecting the spheres became a priority. The team devised a plan to secure the submarine, hide the devices, and begin a careful study of the energy system. Lucas knew that their work had become urgent. The safety of the technology depended on their vigilance and skill. As night fell, Lucas looked at the glowing sphere resting safely on the submarine's table. He felt a mixture of awe, responsibility, and determination. The discovery had changed everything. He had uncovered a secret that could revolutionize energy, technology, and history, but it was also a secret that needed protection. Lucas understood that the adventure was only beginning. The map, the network, and the technology would lead him to new discoveries, but he had to proceed carefully. Lucas also reflected on the courage of the submarine crew. They had risked their lives to hide the containers and protect the technology. Their efforts had ensured that the knowledge survived decades underwater, waiting for someone like Lucas to find it. He felt a deep connection to them and a commitment to continue their mission. He realized that the sphere was not only a tool but also a responsibility, a link between the past and the present. The next day, Lucas prepared to document everything they had learned so far. The sphere, the new device, the submarine, and the map would be studied carefully, and their findings recorded in detail. Lucas felt a sense of pride and purpose. He had discovered something extraordinary, but he also understood that the journey ahead would require caution, intelligence, and teamwork. The discovery had brought excitement, danger, and knowledge. Lucas knew that the hidden network was vast, that other containers existed, and that others might be searching for them. The sphere had shown him the possibilities, and now it was up to him and his team to protect, understand, and unlock its secrets safely. Lucas felt ready for the challenges ahead. He had stepped into a world of adventure, responsibility, and history, and he knew that the discoveries to come would change everything. Lucas woke early that morning, the sun casting a golden glow over the research facility. He could feel the weight of the past days pressing on him. The sphere, the devices, the map, and the secrets of the submarine had changed everything. Yet the adventure was far from over. The shadows in the water, the people searching for the technology, and the network of hidden containers made it clear that he could not delay action. He had to ensure the discoveries were protected and understood before they fell into the wrong hands. Lucas gathered his team, Dr. Maria and Alex, and reviewed their plan. They had studied the sphere's energy functions, documented the submarine's compartments, and traced the locations of other containers on the map. Now they would begin the next phase, visiting a nearby site where another container was believed to be hidden. The sphere's projections had marked it clearly, and Lucas felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. They did not know what they would find or who else might be waiting. They boarded a small research vessel and set out across the calm sea. The journey was quiet, filled with the anticipation of discovery. Lucas kept the sphere carefully stored in a protective case, aware that its energy signals could attract attention. He could not afford any mistakes. As the hours passed, he studied the map and the data from the submarine, preparing for the exploration ahead. Dr. Maria and Alex were equally focused, understanding that the mission combined adventure, history, and responsibility. When they arrived at the coordinates, Lucas prepared his diving gear. The water was clear, and the seabed stretched below like a vast blue desert. Using the sphere's projections, he located the hidden container buried in sand near a rocky ridge. It was smaller than the first one, but the design and markings matched perfectly. Lucas felt a thrill as he approached it, knowing that this discovery would connect the global network and reveal more about the technology's origins. He carefully cleared the sand around the container and examined it for hidden traps or mechanisms. The surface was smooth, cold, and covered in symbols similar to the first container. Lucas applied his knowledge from opening the previous container and began to manipulate the symbols. With careful movements, he unlocked the mechanism. The container opened, revealing documents, devices, and a smaller version of the sphere. Lucas and the team marveled at the intricate designs and advanced technology. As they studied the contents, Lucas noticed faint movement above the water. A boat approached rapidly, carrying figures who seemed to be watching their progress. Lucas's heart raced. The people were not ordinary researchers. They were aware of the secret network and intended to claim it. Lucas quickly signaled Dr. Maria and Alex to secure the new sphere and documents. They worked swiftly, placing everything in protective cases. Lucas realized that the discovery had drawn attention faster than they had anticipated. The approaching boat came closer, and Lucas made a decision. He activated the sphere, projecting a network map that displayed all nearby containers and potential threats. The small sphere in the new container began to interact with the larger one, creating a glowing line of connection. Lucas understood that the spheres could communicate and coordinate, a security feature designed by the original creators. The devices responded instantly, indicating that the network was aware of the approaching danger. Lucas and his team prepared to dive deeper, hiding the containers in underwater crevices. The sphere's energy created a faint glow, masking their exact location. As they worked, the figures above the water attempted to approach, but the sphere's protective signals made it difficult for them to detect the hidden containers. Lucas felt a surge of relief. The technology was not only advanced but also designed to protect itself, just as the submarine crew had intended decades ago. After securing the containers, Lucas surfaced with Dr. Maria and Alex. The approaching boat was now visible, but the team remained calm. Lucas realized that they had to continue moving carefully, visiting other sites and ensuring the network remained protected. The discovery was no longer just about history or adventure. It was a responsibility, one that required vigilance, intelligence, and collaboration. Over the next several days, Lucas and his team visited other locations marked on the sphere's map. Each site revealed more containers, devices, and documents. The technology varied slightly, but all were connected through the network. Lucas realized that the spheres acted as both energy sources and guides, creating a system that could manage itself and maintain security. The sophistication and foresight of the original creators were extraordinary. As they explored, Lucas documented every detail. The devices, energy functions, and network projections were carefully recorded. Dr. Maria translated as much of the historical information as possible, while Alex studied the engineering and design. Together, they were uncovering a global secret, one that had been hidden for decades. The experience was exhausting but exhilarating. Lucas felt that he was part of something much larger than himself, a mission that combined history, science, and discovery. One evening, while resting on the boat, Lucas reflected on the journey. The submarine, the containers, the spheres, and the documents had revealed a story of courage, intelligence, and foresight. The original submarine crew had understood the value of the technology and the potential dangers it carried. Their mission had been successful, but it required someone like Lucas to continue their work. He felt proud and responsible. The legacy of the past was now in his hands. Suddenly, the sphere emitted a soft glow, projecting a message that Lucas had not noticed before. A holographic projection appeared, showing the submarine crew and diagrams of their mission. The projection indicated that the network was designed to respond to discovery, guiding the next Guardian through instructions and locations. Lucas realized that the spheres were more than machines. They were teaching tools, passing knowledge across generations. The message emphasized caution, responsibility, and the importance of protecting the network. Lucas shared the projection with Dr. Maria and Alex. They watched in awe as the hologram displayed the locations of remaining containers and instructions for safely managing the spheres. The team understood that their work was now a global mission, ensuring the technology was used for the benefit of humanity, not for personal gain. Lucas felt a deep sense of purpose. This was not just exploration. It was a duty. The following days were filled with careful exploration and secure documentation. Lucas noticed that the spheres seemed to enhance each other when placed near one another.
Energy flows became visible, projections became clearer, and the network's security features strengthened.
Lucas understood that the system was designed to operate collectively, ensuring that discoveries were safe while gradually revealing their secrets. It was a balance of knowledge and protection, a system created by minds far ahead of their time. One evening, after a long day of exploration, Lucas and his team returned to the research facility. The containers, devices, and spheres were now stored safely, with secure monitoring systems in place. Lucas felt a sense of accomplishment. The network had been partially revealed, and the spheres had guided them successfully. The discovery was monumental, but it was only the beginning. The world would soon learn of the hidden history, advanced technology, and the legacy of the submarine crew. Lucas knew that sharing the discovery required caution. The knowledge and power contained in the spheres could change the world, but they could also be misused. He decided that the information would be revealed gradually, through careful study, collaboration with trusted scientists, and public announcements that highlighted history and innovation rather than power. Lucas understood that this approach would ensure the technology benefited humanity safely. Weeks later, news began to spread about the submarine and the containers. Historians, scientists, and the media marveled at the discovery. The story of the World War II submarine, its crew, and the hidden network captured the imagination of the world. Lucas and his team shared the historical context, the bravery of the crew, and the advanced technology without revealing the full power of the spheres. The response was awe and admiration. People understood the significance of preserving history while advancing science responsibly. Lucas felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The discovery had changed his life, and it was beginning to influence the world. He had found adventure, history, and technology hidden for decades, and he had approached it with respect, intelligence, and responsibility. The submarine crew's mission had succeeded, and now Lucas had become part of that legacy. In the following months, Lucas continued his research, exploring other locations marked on the sphere's network. Each new discovery added pieces to the puzzle, revealing more about the advanced technology and the global vision of the original creators. Lucas felt a sense of connection to history, to science, and to the responsibility of guiding the knowledge safely. He had become a guardian, a discoverer, and a protector of secrets that could benefit the world. The spheres continued to hum softly, glowing with energy and projecting patterns that guided Lucas's work. He realized that the technology was designed to teach, protect, and inspire. The legacy of the submarine crew, their courage and their foresight had endured for decades, and now Lucas was entrusted with carrying it forward.